3. Good morning, Venus. How are you?
Good morning. I'm wonderful. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. I got my trusty mug here with Inspire, Motivate, Teach, Love, and Spark. And I love the colors on yours. Is it
Yeah,
a dragonfly?
it's
Dragonfly?
a dragonfly. So
Dragonfly?
dragonflies are really important to me. They're everywhere. I have them
So,
everywhere.
so what maybe by the end of this call, we'll dig into what they are, what they mean to you. But I appreciate you jumping on a call with me Monday morning. And yeah, I sent you this graphic over the weekend, and I'm curious if you had a chance to take a look at it.
I did. I took a look at it, kind of blew my mind a little bit. Now I want you to explain it.
Okay, so let me share this. Um, let's see, I don't want to share the whole desktop. Let me share this. Can you see? Is that big enough for you to see?
Yes. And
Yeah.
that's that's a lot. It's a lot
Yeah.
to take in. So what are we looking at?
So I love this graphic. It came from a colleague of mine, Stephen Wilkinson, and I took a course with him a few years ago about the importance of reading the balance sheet. And so many of my clients in the real estate space are asset heavy, and they need to pay more attention to their balance sheet. And oftentimes balance sheets aren't accurate, but that's maybe a conversation for a different day. What this is all NAIC codes or business sectors in Europe. So this is not American data, but I use it for illustration purposes. What's meaningful about this is all of the NAIC codes are across the bottom. And in blue, what we're looking at is the average net profit for every industry. And most of my clients are just trying to get to average. So, like, if I'm average, I'm doing really good. But what you're seeing here is somewhere between 2 and 4.5 or 5% is the average net profit margin for businesses in every sector. And what this orange bar is what the top 10% are able to achieve. And so the difference, the spread, is literally money being left on the table. It doesn't mean that every industry is going to be able to achieve a 30% profit margin or even a 50% profit margin. But we could do better by just being more attentive to the way we're managing our operations. So I'll stop there. Does anything come up for you that you think would be important to share?
So what I first saw when you sent this to me and I looked at it, the first thing I noticed that there's about a 5 times, it's every little column is a little bit different, but it's about 5 times difference between the blue and the orange. So between the average and the top 10.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and
It's
that's
heavy.
actually a little scary to think
Yeah,
that only the top 10 make it about 5 times more.
yeah. Well, what that tells me is that as business owners, and we know this as profit first professionals, you and I see it when we're analyzing the financials, but what we're dealing with as business owners is we're tolerating a lot of inefficiencies, and we're tolerating a lot of things that we could be improving, thinking that they're just common and expected and that we have to. And oftentimes we're focusing, it doesn't matter what the industry is, but we're focusing on what the external world is doing, what our competitors are doing, and are we good enough compared to our competitors? And what we should be doing is focusing on our internal organization and bettering our best year over year. And so what we do, what I start to do is look at where are we right now? Where can we make incremental improvements, just small improvements over time, bring big results? That's how the top 10% are getting these kinds of margins. And being strategic about it. What are we doing? Who are we? Who do we serve? And how do we do it?
So how do you go about helping your clients realize instead of trying to look at their competitors, they need to look more internally at what they're doing and start taking those small steps?
Yeah. Great question. So one of the places that I've noticed where real estate investors, that's who we're working with, real estate investors can improve is really looking at, here, I'll stop my share, but really looking at beyond the deal analysis. So I've got an article coming out in a week or so about how our strategies are actually causing us to become less efficient rather than more efficient. And one of the ways that that happens is we're focusing above the line. Is my deal working the way it's supposed to? How many deals am I doing? We're all about the deal. And what we need to be focusing on is time. How is that time affecting us? Are our deals taking too much time? What happens is we get the deal, we have the deal profit from that, and then our operations eat it up faster than we're expecting it. And we're not really paying attention to that. So profit first helps us figure out where the money is going, how much money we need, how long we need that money to last, and then how do we create an efficient process by focusing on a particular exit strategy, looking at what our strengths are. We get strategic about how we're doing things.
That leads me to I've got to know, because we all as professionals here, we all get the clients who fight back or don't understand. What do you do to help your clients understand that this is actually a good thing? It's uncomfortable for them, but it's a good thing to go through this process.
Question. So part of it is mindset. You know, there's so many people in the space that are telling us, get a deal, do a deal, have to have deals, many deals over and over, repeat the process. I'm just thinking about this one strategy, the BRRRR strategy, and that would be buy, rehab, refinance, repeat, right? And it's the repeat process that we don't, as business owners, we don't understand. So we've got to know our numbers. We've got to know what the results are that we're creating. So part of that is just showing them. And it's hard to refute that when you're looking at concrete numbers. Where I think a lot of our clients, or my clients, go off track is they think they have to do more creative deals and do more types of deals. And it's really about focusing. So we look at helping them understand where their skill set is, helping them understand where they're most profitable, which types of deals are producing the results. And they don't want, sometimes they don't want to look at it. They want, sometimes it's easier to accept the status quo than it is to really change, because we've got to look inwardly. And we need support. And so it's partially it's coaching and figuring out their motivations and helping them see that something is possible. Also, we work on mission, vision, and purpose. Why is this business existing the way it is? What's important? What's meaningful? What's the change you want to have? And when we get focused on that and it's really clear, everything becomes easier. Your decision making becomes easier. Who's on your team becomes easier. And there's a little bit of a release that happens when we can get focused on those things. Does that answer your question?
Yes. You're amazing.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I absolutely love this. It's so much fun and it's very challenging, and business is hard. But it's also, I find the real estate investors are driven to be in this space. They're really passionate about it. They're really good at it, and they can be so much better at it. And not being better at it gets them at business. They're great at deals. They're not always so good at leading the organization forward. So that's what I love to help people do. Thanks so much for having this conversation with me this morning. I appreciate it.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah. I'm gonna